All right, guys, welcome to an advanced awareness session. We got a lot to talk about. Had a very interesting morning, and I'm just going to give you some information, some awareness that's going to give you the positioning power to give you the understanding on how to manifest better outcomes. And we're going to be talking about a book. I'm actually going to be teaching the key concepts of a book. I mean, of course, I recommend reading a book for yourself to get your own perception, but I got this idea from Ty's Accelerator. His course, by far the best thing I ever bought. And he does these things that he would assign books, essentially like a book club, get the following, and then he would do these videos and make it interactive. So my vision is I want to start doing interactive videos, probably do these live sometime soon. But I just want to get the people, the community, the people to understand what I want to do. And boy, does this book have a lot to say. It's actually one of the most influential books for entrepreneurs. Tom Bilyeu, the guy from Impact Theory, he's the one that suggested it, and right off the bat, I was like, all right, he said it, let's go. Credible source, right? And I'm going to be honest, I didn't agree 100% with the book, but it had a lot of good points that I was like, all right, I think it'd be beneficial if I share this. So I'm just going to dive in, and I'm going to give the key points on what I believe are the most beneficial for you. Like I said, I recommend you read it for yourself. That way you pick knit and grit, right, what you want to see. But I'm gonna give you the 2 rules. It calls it the rules. They're like the main view of the book, and then I'm gonna give you key points, key segments within each rule, and you get a better understanding. And I'm gonna be breaking down a very, I'd say, life-changing graph or system that it grades you for success. I know that's very difficult to say, but once you see it, like, wow, that's actually very, very powerful. In fact, I believe it comes directly from Harvard. They teach it to there. And I learned it. I was like, whoo, let me start sharing this stuff. So, yeah, guys, stay tuned. It's going to be tremendously valuable. It's a little bit advanced awareness session. But at the end of the day, this information is only here to help you. Okay, so let's get right into it. So, like I said, it's based off rules. So, rule number 1, and I didn't even mention what the book was called. So the book is called So Good They Can't Ignore You. It's by a guy named Newport. Very logical individual. He gives his points, and like, fascinating read. But like I said, there was stuff I didn't agree, but he had the key points, and that's what I want to explain. And then rule number 1, he talks about passion, but passion as a bad thing. So he says what is known as passion careers. I don't think I spelled careers right. Oh well. But he said passion careers equals bad advice. Now, the reason being so is because of this keyword, career. Think about it. What are you passionate about? What do you intuitively feel that is your passion and you wish you could do? If you ask anyone who has a job, more than likely they don't like it. They despise going to work. The reason being so is because they feel it's not their passion. And if you ask people what's their passion, they'll give you like probably a vague answer, like photography or art, something more in the abstract area. And essentially he's saying that people who just jump directly into a passion career, they fall. They actually end up getting hurt. It hurts them more than it benefits them. He gave an example of a lady who had a super solid job, was a marketer, and had a stable job in an agency, and she got tired of the corporate life, and she just like, you know what, I'm gonna start my own thing. So she was passionate about yoga, and she just jumped right in, bought a studio, started teaching, and then it fell. She literally lost everything. And he just gives the warning, like, sometimes what you feel is your passion and you want to make it a career might not be the best choice. It says sometimes just following your passion is bad advice. But the key word, I mean, he put this in a way that is very difficult to debate, but careers. I don't think following your passion is a bad thing, but make sure your career is sustainable. Make sure there's a market. I mean, if your passion, he has a good point. Like, if you have a passion that's like underwater basket weaving, how can you make that into a career? The market is not there. And he's a very, very logical guy. He talks about market market capital, how good you are at skills. Is there even a market, the customer? You got to view it as a business perspective at the end of the day, the economics of it too. So that's what he says. Rule number 1, passion careers are sometimes bad advice, which leads to rule number 2. Rule number 1 is fairly simple, but rule number 2 has much more. I like to call it like the juice, the meat of the video, of this video, because I'm going to teach you something that's going to fascinate you. Watch. So rule number 2 says, get good at something that is valuable and rare. So to not write that out, I'm going to teach you, I'm going to show you a graph, a grading system that Harvard uses for successful careers. Now, success is subjective, but this graph gives you tremendous understanding on how things work. So, and I bring it up because the author got 2 of these out of the 4 for the essential same thing, careers. So it's called the V.R.I.N. Wow. Oh my God. It's called the V.R.I.N. That was an epic fail. So we got the V, the I, the V, the R, and the N. V.R.I.N. Okay? God damn, my handwriting is horrible. I need to get better at that. But don't let it disregard you. Don't let it disregard the value of this book. I'm tremendously confident that once you see this, you're like, whew, I made up for it. All right, so Newport, the author, he says, you got to get good at something that's valuable and rare. Okay? Now, the way you're going to do so is with, well, first you got to be aware, what area do you want to go into? And he talks about, interesting enough, on the term of passion, he says that once you get good at something, you fall into something called mastery and autonomy. And Daniel Pink, the author of Drive, what's one of these books back here? He talks about that we have our motivation system, our reward system misunderstood. We don't really understand it, and we think some stuff motivates us, but in reality is not it. For example, sometimes people think money is the best incentive, but sometimes it can harm you more. Paying your employees or being rewarded with money is not the best outcome. But what Cal Newport says, that mastery, your competence is your confidence. So once you find a skill that is valuable, rare, you can start harnessing and getting that mastery in it, and then it's going to start fulfilling you. He gives classic examples of people who don't necessarily feel that their job is their career, their passion, but as they get better at it later on throughout the interviews, they start feeling more content and start feeling it, that it becomes more of a passion. And interesting enough, there's levels to it. So if you start off as something that you're not good at, you're probably going to view it as a job. And then if you have an interest in that area and becomes your job, you're going to view it as your career. But they did an interview of asking people that work in the same company, do the same thing essentially, but different ages and different levels. They asked them, oh, how do you feel? Is this just a job, career, or passion? The younger people, the people that barely started, most of them said, oh, this is kind of just a job for me. And the people that were in the middle, like, oh, you know what? This is more than a job. It's a career. I'm very fulfilled with myself, etc., etc. But the people that were older, the masters, the most experienced individuals, they said, this is my calling. I'm very passionate about my work. It's bigger than myself. It's for the future, etc., etc. And he says, well, these people love it because they're good at it. So keep that in mind. And then to dive further into that, how do you get good at something? He calls it deliberate practice. And that is if you work hard like everyone else, but you work smarter and harder, and you do the things that other people don't do, like going the extra mile. He gave the example of a guitar player that because the author called Newport, he played the guitar as well from age 12 to like 20, but he was never like a superstar. And he interviewed a guitar superstar that played literally from the same age. And he's like, what's the difference? We played around the same time, same hours, but why was he better than me? Why did he become a superstar and I didn't? And the superstar did what's known as deliberate practice, is that he would go the extra mile. For example, if he heard a song and he said, whoa, that's fascinating, he would listen to it hundreds and hundreds of times by ear and start graphing it out in his mind, the music sheet. And then he would start practicing it. And then if he would practice and he would have one error, say mid throughout the song, he would start all over. And this is the stuff most people don't do. But these people that are the masters, they do what's known as deliberate practice. And he gives classic examples of that, but that's very interesting. So your passion is going to start coming from your skill. So your skill is based off your competence, and your competence is going to give you your confidence. So it's all correlated. So back to this called the V.R.I.N system. What is it? Okay. So like I said, this is pretty advanced, heavy stuff. I actually believe it deserves a page for itself. Trust me, these pages, I want to use these pages as wise as possible. This is going to be a good example. So we got the V, right? What does the V mean? Well, it stands for valuable. Like I said, Cal Newport got this right. He says you got to be good at something that's valuable. If you're good at something that nobody perceives with value, it's obsolete. I mean, it becomes a hobby. It becomes something that you care about, but nobody else. Well, that leads to the second step, which is rare. Well, if you do something that's valuable, but it's not rare, then your perceived value is not going to be as beneficial. For example, let's say a Ferrari, right? Has a strong R because it's rare. Every car that you see out of what is it a Ferrari? Probably out of 1 out of 100,000, 1 out of a million. So the more rare you are based off your career, your competence, the more valuable you're gonna be. And then it leads to almost very similar. That's for the N, for inimitable. And this one I didn't think about much, but is how hard is it to become like you? Basically, can this skill be easily done? Can easily be replaced? It's very similar, like I said, to the R, but it's a step further. This inimitability is how hard is it to become that, or how hard is it to become you? For example, for me, how hard is it to become a good teacher spreading awareness about awareness? Well, there's areas in competition, and once you're done with this, I'm gonna teach you how to grade your own career, your passion career, whatever it may be, and grade yourself unbiasedly, or I should say unbiasedly, but give you like an objective perception on how things work. And then the N stands for non-substitutable. I'll just put non-substitute. Can this thing essentially be replaced? Can you be replaced? Well, I mean, there's only one of you. And if your skill is good in all these, then you're non-substitutably going to be higher. And what they recommend is to get these and grade yourself by 10 on each level. So how valuable are you on a 110? How rare are you on a 110? How inimitable are you on a 110? How is it non-substitutable on a 110? And then you add them up, and then you divide by 4. And then you get essentially your grade. Let me give you a classic example of a height. And the higher you score, the more essentially successful you're going to be, whether it's financially a conventional metric of success or anything else, fulfillment. So a V.R.I.N score, who has a high V.R.I.N score? This thing has to be the top, best in the world. Be so good they can't ignore you. And the classic one I like to do is Messi or LeBron James, or extremely high level athletes. These guys are gods. So how valuable is Messi to Barcelona? Well, I mean, he's a huge asset, not just financially, but he makes them win. He gives them careers. He gives them momentum. He gives them morale. He gives them a lot of stuff, right? So he's extremely high on the V. How rare is he? There's literally one Messi. The only person you could kind of compare him to is Ronaldo. Or, people are coming up, Neymar, but Messi. So give him another 10. How inimitable is he? Can you just sub in another player that is a Messi? No. So very inimitable. Non-substitutable. All right, I skipped ahead. Can you literally substitute Messi? No. And the inimitable is like, how hard is it to become a Messi? How many hours of practice? How many due diligence of session after session you gotta do? Kobe Bryant will shoot like 8,000 shots before practice or something like that. Something insane, right? So, boom, higher thing. Practice more than everyone. Can you substitute Messi? Nope. So, boom, 10. Add it up. Messi scores 40 divided by 4. Therefore, he gets a 10. He got a 10 on the V.R.I.N score, so Messi's a living legend. Probably the higher you score. If you score a 10, you're a legend. Okay? So that's one of the things. Be so good they can't ignore you. And that's pretty much it. That's the overview, but I want to throw in some little gems in here. Yeah, so now let me give you this little thing about essentially fulfillment. So like I said, Daniel Pink in the book Drive, he has something called autonomy, and that's you do your work based off yourself, and it's essentially you are in control. And when you're in control, you get more fulfillment. You're happier. You're just like, the responsibility is on you, but you don't have that stress, that boss, that thing, and it's proven that it makes you more fulfilled. But in order to get to that control, you need skill. It's like if a new employee with no skill tells his boss, like, hey, boss, I need these 2 weeks off. I'm going to be chilling. I want a vacation. I got to do stuff. The boss is like, get back to work. But if this person had a tremendous amount of skill, was high on the V.R.I.N score, it's like, hey, man, like, I got to do stuff. I need 2 weeks off. He's going to be extremely valuable. And the boss is like, he might be hesitant. Like, all right, man, go ahead. He's not going to be risking that loss. So you need the skills to get the autonomy, get that control, therefore get better fulfillment. And then I'll end it. The battery's about to end, but I'll end it on something called, well, actually, we all know your mission. But the thing is, your mission has to be innovative. So, like it correlates to passion career. That is your mission, but your skill is going to essentially cultivate it. And then from there, you're going to move forward in that direction. Well, what is your mission? It's subjective. It's different for everyone. But the key thing is you got to be innovative. You got to have a high V.R.I.N score, but be innovative on what you want. My mission is spread awareness about awareness. Is there someone else doing it? Yeah, there's people teaching, spreading knowledge in that area. But how I'm going to do it, what I'm perceiving value is different, right? It's a little bit innovative. And then for you, make it interactive. Think about it. What is your innovative mission? And once you do so, you're going to start understanding how to approach it, how to get the skill set so you're so good they can't ignore you. You're going to have a high V.R.I.N score. It's just going to give you more fulfillment and essentially live a better life. All right, so this was it. I felt kind of rushed. The battery's going to die, but Tuesdays are my sacred day to record content. But there it is, guys. There it is. Be so good they can't ignore you. It's going to be a fascinating thing to acquire. Competence is your confidence. Live a fulfilled life. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this one. It was a lot of value. There's more to come. So my call to action is I would really appreciate it if you click the link below and go to the steps. Okay, I got a little surprise for you. It's tremendously valuable. It's free. And I've been working on this essentially for my whole life, literally to this exact moment. So if you're watching this, click the link below, see what it is. I want to get that curiosity, and you're probably going to start seeing ads soon. But yeah, guys, it's going to be a lot. This is all about awareness, building that community and moving forward. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're excited for what's to come, and I hope you gain the sense of awareness about awareness. You got some aversion. All right, so I'll talk to you soon. Take care.